Man, what's happening in Miami right now is wild. There's movement behind the scenes that could shake the top of the franchise, a hire nobody saw coming, and a situation on the field that might flip the whole season on its head. But not everything is what it looks like. Some of these choices could change the future of the Dolphins for good. Are we watching the start of a new era? You're not gonna believe what we've got today. So kick back, hit that like button, and let's get right into it. You know that feeling when something big is brewing, but nobody wants to say it out loud? That's exactly what's going on inside the Dolphins building. This team is standing at a crossroads, and the move that's coming could shape the future for a long time. This isn't a small front office adjustment. It's a full reshaping of the power structure. Since 2016, the GM chair didn't even have a crack in it. Now, with Chris Greer out and the first real shot at bringing in an outside leader in almost a decade, Miami is staring at a chance or a risk to reset its identity. And when you talk about structure, it starts at the foundation but ends at the top. What has fans nervous is the same question everyone's whispering about. Who's really going to be calling the shots? Insider Albert Bear dropped the nugget that owner Stephen Ross isn't just picking a new GM. He's rethinking the entire model that will guide the franchise. So is Miami leaning toward a three-man structure with Mike McDaniel, Brandon Shore, and the new GM sharing power? It's a setup that's kept teams like the Rams and Lions steady. But it can get messy if egos or visions don't line up perfectly. And this is where the heat turns up. If McDaniel keeps winning down the stretch, he gains juice, plain and simple. Winning gives him leverage and proves to Ross that the current philosophy still works. But if the team slips, Ross might just drop the hammer and start from scratch. This is one of those stretches where every snap, every play call, every tweak on the headset carries political weight. On the candidate list are names like Champ Kelly, who's respected in the building, Alec Hollaby from the Eagles, who comes from that winning culture, and Ray Agnew, one of the architects behind the Lions' rise. Solid options, but Ross isn't just choosing a person, he's choosing a path, continuity, or a full rebuild. Here's the tricky part. The more constraints the job comes with, the less attractive it becomes. A set-in-place head coach, an expensive quarterback, and an impatient owner aren't exactly a dream trio for ambitious execs. The ideal move is alignment, bringing in a GM, a coach, and a cap specialist who walk in together with the same mindset. A team moving in the same direction instead of tugging from opposite ends of the rope for now. McDaniel holds the pen, and the field is his proving ground. His fate and the fate of Miami's new leadership are tied together, and fans know it. Every win means more than a bump in the standings. It's a vote for the continuation of a project that's been up and down but still carries hope. And that, my friend, is just the beginning of the drama. If Dolphins fans had a moment when their hearts stopped, it was when the news about Juju Brents came through. The kid was balling out, showing that ball hawk instinct Miami's been dying to see in its secondary. 10 combined tackles, a pass breakup, a fumble recovery, and out of nowhere, his season is done. A brutal hit, especially because he was settling in right when the team needed stability on the back end. But the front office didn't sit around. Before the news even had time to echo, Miami announced the signing of A.J. Green. No, not the wideout. The cornerback promoted off the Rams practice squad. And here's where things get interesting. Even if the name doesn't carry weight, he's stepping into a moment where simply patching the hole already brings strategic value. Green is one of those guys who challenges the labels. Undrafted in 2020 out of Oklahoma State, bounced around with the Browns and Rams. 36 NFL games under his belt despite few starting chances. Modest resume on the surface. But it speaks to one thing, staying power. And you don't stay in this league without discipline. The real question is whether he'll get the time and space to show that discipline in McDaniel's system. Expectations are low, no doubt. Miami's depth chart has been patched together like a South Beach parking lot, so his arrival feels more like necessity than a bet. But at this point in the season, the small details matter, and anyone willing to grind for a spot can end up being useful. McDaniel and Vic Fangio love athletic, instinctive defenders, and Green fits that mold. Fans can doubt, and honestly, it makes sense. A guy without reps, who hasn't played since 2023, walking into a storm of injuries. It sounds more like a band-aid than a real answer. But look, a lot of the biggest turnarounds in the league started exactly like this, with a no-name player stepping in and becoming the spark nobody saw coming. Plus, Miami's defense has been locking in lately, showing more structure and rhythm. A complementary piece could be the difference between control and chaos. Maybe Green won't be the hero, but he might be the buffer, the guy who keeps things from falling apart. And in a league ruled by next man up, that matters. And while we're trying to catch our breath after all that, what comes next might shake the fan base even more. The tide is finally turning in Miami, and you can feel it in the air. After a rough start, this team is starting to look like it's finding itself. 3 wins in the last 4, and more important than the scoreboard, the sense that the machine is finally sensing up. That spark every fan recognizes when the team plays confident. The vibe changes, the sideline feels alive. The ball bounces your way. A 20-point margin over those 4 games showed that this group is growing together. The defense is back to being nasty, the offense is leaning into what it does best, and young players are stepping up in a big way. That's what's most exciting. The future is starting to show itself, starting with Kenneth Grant. The rookie's proving that the jump from college to the league doesn't have to be a wall. It can be a climb. After a shaky start, the first-round defensive tackle began flashing that rare mix of power and IQ. Against Cleveland, he had his best game so far, for tackles and constant pressure. It felt like the moment where everything clicked. Since then, he's been steady and confident, looking a bit like a young Christian Wilkins. Then you got Greg Dolce. He came in quiet, almost unnoticed, but slowly became a key piece in McDaniel's offense. The real fans already see it. He does the dirty work, blocks, creates lanes, and pops up wide open when it matters. McDaniel's adjusting the playbook around his versatility, and the impact is starting to show. He won't be a heavy target guy, but he might be the glue this offense needed between the hashes and the red zone. Jason Marshall Jr. deserves his flowers too. The rookie struggled early, which is normal for young corners, but since coming back from injury, he looks like a different player. Playing tighter, tackling cleaner, trusting his technique. His pass breakup in the 3rd quarter last week even got a reaction from the vets. That's growth, not luck. And speaking of young standouts, Donnie Trader Jr. keeps making noise. He's become a Swiss Army knife in the secondary, bouncing between free and strong safety. He makes mistakes, sure, but the instincts are there, and so is the upside. You can see him absorbing the game in real-time. To wrap it all up, who thought we'd be talking about Darren Waller making plays in aqua and orange? For touchdowns and for games is pure impact. The veteran looks refreshed under McDaniel, and if he stays healthy, he could be the piece that puts Miami back in the mix among the league's top offenses. And the wildest part? This might just be the beginning of a turnaround nobody expected. The Dolphins' future is boiling over. With the front office shaking, new faces arriving, and the on-field revival taking shape, Miami feels like a team on the verge of something big. But every shift comes with risk, and that's where true identity gets revealed. Are we witnessing the rise of a new contender, or just another chapter of almost moments? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and ride this aqua and orange wave with us.